G'day viewers, and welcome back to this next edition of Friction Zone. My name's Greg, for those that haven't been here before. What's Friction Zone about? It's about trying to help you control your motorcycle at slow speeds, between about 2 and 15 kilometers an hour, actual slow speeds, doing turns. In the first video we covered off the 5 basic steps and the 9 exercises that we use to help us do that. What I'm going to do today is now drill down to the use of the friction zone itself, so I can better explain it to you and you can see it more clearly and have a better understanding. So the 5 basic steps, as we said, were make sure the bike's in gear, that we cover the rear brake with our right foot, we then raise the throttle so that the bike is above idle, approximately 2000 RPMs, and we hold that there, okay? So preload that throttle and hold it at about 2000 RPMs thereabouts. And that'll keep your bike from stalling when you're using the friction zone. We then go into the friction zone. So that is, we grab the clutch, we go to the point forward where just before it starts to move forward, pull it back a bit, that's a sweet spot. We need to know where that is. So that saves that time. So we then go into the friction zone 1, which is we let the clutch go forward just enough so the bike starts to move. Then we hold it there. Now the bike's moving. As soon as the bike starts to move, the last thing we do, the 5th one, is we lift our left foot up. So now we've got no feet on the ground because the bike is moving. Because whilst the bike is moving, there is no need to put the feet back on the ground. Within the friction zone, as I said before, there are basically 4 sort of steps, if you like. Friction zone 1 is where the bike starts to move and it's moving you forward. Friction zone 2 is providing slightly more power, so just slightly forward of that again to give you a bit more power to the rear wheel, so it allows you to lean the bike when you're doing the turns. So friction zone 1 is pretty much for upright stuff. Friction zone 2, we now need a bit more power because we're leaning the bike, and then friction zone 3, just slightly a bit more power going forward, once again forward of that to the rear wheel, for when you want to speed up when you start to get really good at the slow turns and you want to speed it up. And then friction zone 4, basically the clutch is opened up, which we don't use when we're doing slow speed operations. Predominantly we use between friction zone 1 and 2 for slow speed operations, and that gets us through nicely. Okay, so as I say, what we're going to today is drill down. We've got the cone set up here as a single line. It's just allows us to go from one set of cones to the other. In the first video we showed you the stopping and starting. What I'm going to do today now is show you how, by the use of the my helmet camera, drill down into what that actually looks like and explain that a bit more, so you have a better understanding of the use of the friction zone. Okay, so without further ado, let's move on to that. Okay, so we'll just get the bike up the other end. We'll take it from there. Now this ground I'm using around here today is really thick with loose gravel. So this is where it really comes into play, using it when you're turning, keeping your bike upright, especially in this type of ground. Because it's this type of ground, it's really slippy. You see that? Really thick with the gravel. Okay, so this is a good example of why when you're doing the first 3 exercises that the bike is upright, because you're assuming that you're on ground like this and you don't want to lean, because if you lean you're going to probably slip out. So this is a good example of why. Okay, so friction zone. Once again, the 5 steps: in gear, foot covering the rear brake, throttle above idle, about 2000 RPMs for this bike, and then we go to the friction zone. Okay, so we're in gear, covering the rear brake, get the throttles up. Now if you look at my left hand, I take it out to where the bike starts to move forward. Now I pull slightly back, just slightly back, so now the bike doesn't move. If I go just slightly forward, the bike starts to move, I lift my foot up, I hold it there. If I accelerate, the bike won't go any faster because I'm holding in friction zone 1. And that's the idea of that. So we go slightly forward, whereas now to friction zone 2, the bike speeds up, and I use my rear brake to control the speed. I'm using my rear brake, friction zone, rear brake, friction zone, rear brake, friction zone, rear brake, smooth stop. So I then stop. So we're going to try and control those stops so that the clutch comes in only once the foot's hit the ground. So we'll do that. We'll show you that going forward now. So I'm in gear. Foot's coming to rear brake. Raise the throttle. Moving forward, friction zone. Moving forward, friction zone 1, friction zone 1, moving forward, friction brake, friction brake, friction brake. Foot's down, now I pull the clutch in. So my foot was down flat on the ground like it is now, and then I pull the clutch in. So that's how we control for the smooth stop, and we use of the friction zone. So the friction zone, when you go into the friction zone, it is very minute, okay? So especially on this. So it's only millimeters that you're talking about, but it's the feel. You'll feel the bike start to move forward, and it's moving forward, and you hold it there. Then you go slightly further forward of that, and you'll feel that extra pull. And you use your rear brake to slow the bike down because you're maintaining your throttle if it's going fast. So you use the rear brake to maintain that, to control, right? The rear brake gives you correction and control, all right, once you're moving. So that's why that's important. So friction zone 1 and 2 is generally used for the slow speeds. Friction zone 2, particularly for the turns, you need more power in the rear wheel so you can lean the bike. When you're upright, friction zone 1. So with the use of that as well, if you're going along and you're going slowly and you feel like the bike is going to fall, as soon as you feel that falling feeling, as soon as you feel it, just go very quickly in and out like that, in, out. So it's very quick and back, and the bike will pull up. And we'll do that for you now. We'll show you how to pull the bike up if it starts to feel like it's falling. So we're in gear, covering the rear brake, moving forward, once again. I'll just pull the bike around. And we're on loose ground here, so we want to keep the bike upright. Smooth stop, then the clutch comes in as we've just seen then. Okay, moving forward. Now what we'll do is we'll do the trust and believe. With trust and believe, we've got the friction zone. We just come to the sweet spot. That is the spot just before. So we go right moving forward, come back slowly. Now my clutch is at the point where it's just before the bike's going to take off. We've raised our RPMs. We'll raise our left foot, and when the bike feels like it's going to fall down, we go out to 2 and then pull it straight away back to 1. We raise our left foot. We see that the bike went to fall to the left, I went out to 2 and back to 1. I'm back under control, fix a brake, smooth stop. And with the smooth stop, it's exactly that. Foot's flat on the ground. Once the bike has stopped, then the foot's flat on the ground and we pull the clutch in. So that's the use of the friction zone, utilising the clutch to control the bike moving forward and to control the smooth stop. So the 4 stages, using each of the stage, depending on what you're doing, and it's a feel thing. It is a feel thing. You've got to get that feel for it. Same with the throttle being at 2,000 RPMs or thereabouts. It's a listen to it and a feel, because we don't want to be looking at the speedos. We want to be looking where we're going, head and eyes forward in the direction we're going. So you've got to listen to those and control them. Okay. So for that one, that's just that quick short there. On the use of the friction zone. So I hope you got something out of that. And what you can do with the cones, this cone setup, you can go from cone to cone. Okay, as you did in the first one. That is friction zone 1, moving forward, controlling, holding the friction zone, using your brake to allow you to speed up and slow down, and give you that control stop as you get to each of the cones. This is very important because this will set you up, getting you ready for doing your left and right turns. And we'll go into that on the next short. So until the next one, stay safe, stay upright, and use the friction zone.